Good evening.
Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Whit.
Blast from the past. Whitney Houston.
Blast from the past.
I always love you. I will always love you.
We thank you all for joining us tonight. As you see, we have Pastor Sam and Lady Lisa here with us. It's always a pleasure and an honor to have them with us, sharing some great words of wisdom and encouragement and all of that good stuff.
It's just an honor to be here. Um, I count it a blessing just to be able to share because one of the things that I think as you are ministering to people, as you are helping people, some of the stuff you ministering to yourself first. You helping yourself get out of some of your stuck places.
Absolutely.
So this is kind of therapeutic for me.
Absolutely. And I'll say that a lot of times I end up ministering to myself when studying and then even speaking or talking about the topics because there are some things that I missed while studying. But then when I begin talking about them and somebody brings up a different point or asks a different question,
Right.
it's like, wow.
Right. You get a whole because it's from a different lens.
Right.
You see it how you see it, and that's your perspective. But when somebody else sheds some light on a situation or a topic, then you get a chance to broaden your horizons and think outside of the box.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's always important. It's always important to get input. Like you said, different points of view because no one is a master of anything.
Absolutely.
I think we all have to kind of bring in what we have to the table,
Right.
and it helps completes us. We are all subject to one another, and I think it's important. That's why it's so important for men to assemble themselves, like the Bible says, "Fret not the assembly," because it is so important for us to get together and work out this thing we call salvation in life.
Right. Absolutely.
Be very careful, though.
Can't get around everybody.
Be careful of the counsel that you seek and who you tell what to, and how much you digest. Because some of that stuff just ain't good for nothing.
Right. Absolutely. And since you said that, there are some things that you can look for when you're trying to seek counsel. And as people say, those red flags, there's some things that will pop up when trying to find that person. But if you pray to God and allow God to allow the Spirit to lead you into whom you can seek counsel with and through, then you should be okay. Especially if you believe and you trust in God and know that He speaks to you and He talks to you. Outside of that, then of course, if you're trying to Google someone, then they have reviews if they have been doing things with people, and that helps as well. But do not feel like you don't need to talk to anybody.
Right.
In that, you need to talk to somebody. If you have to travel outside, that's what you want to do. Travel outside your tri-county states or whatnot. Fine, if you want to find somebody that don't know you or know the people that you are surrounded by, and that will help you greatly. Because I can understand how some people feel like, well, if I talk to this person, they're gonna go and tell this. Well, there's some people that really don't talk about what you talk with them about, and that's perfectly fine. But it's okay to have that feeling because it's human. It's a human feeling. It's a human emotion, and it's one of those things that you have to learn how to hear, understand, and be guided by the Spirit and trusting who you should talk to.
Especially if you're seeking professional counseling. True enough, that person may know you.
Right.
In general, because if you are from a small town like we are, you're gonna know some people in my circle. Absolutely. Or if you don't know me. But one thing I can assure you of, if you or your insurance are paying this person And if they have a license of any kind, they are bound to keep that. They are your secret keeper because you pay them. You sought out for them for help. And I don't think their student loan, the amount of years that they spent in school, for I can just say for myself, all the sacrifices and those 1159s that I had to endure are worth me saying, I'm going to tell that she or he is doing whatever. That one thing will not only change the trajectory of the person who I'm counseling, but also that's going to change my career,
your livelihood.
That's my profession. So yeah. So rest assured that they are bound to keep your secret. I mean, to keep your information, keep your under their hat, unless you are threatening to harm somebody or yourself. You know, it's certain things that they have to tell by law as well. But other than that, they yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it should be the same way, and we know it's not, but it should be the same way in the church. Seeking counsel, especially from your elders or you know, your senior leaders of the church, they should really have that same code of ethics. You know, if someone is coming to me and I've been doing this for quite some time, but I try everything in me to make sure that I keep it. And a lot of times, you know, I've always had, you know, one of my prayers has been to God is, Lord, don't allow me to keep nothing that I don't need to keep, and free me from anything, you know, that can be harmful to me or somebody else.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times when I'm counseling, I literally forget, you know, about what I really talked about. I just ask God to, you know, to give me what to say and how to say it during that time. And then I'm literally freed from it. And I thank God for that, because man, I have enough stuff on my own that I really don't have any room or capacity to really keep anything else stored up in there. So I'm thankful that God allows me to forget it, so I can go on with my everyday life.
Absolutely.
And then too, what I also want to encourage people is pray and ask God for that spirit of discernment. And be mindful of try the spirit by the, I mean, if you know that they've been telling everybody else stuff,
you're not gonna,
because they done told a lot of it to you. You might want to kind of hold back on what it is you're telling that person if you're really seeking counsel, or if it's something, if you need an event and you want somebody to hold something, if they didn't hold the water for the other person, they bucket gonna have a hole in it.
Definitely, if they say something like this, you can't tell nobody else this.
You didn't hear from me.
That's a strong.
You didn't hear from me.
That's a strong indicator right there that they probably told somebody else, or will go tell somebody else. So you may want to say, okay, well, you know, let me just hold that for somebody else. That's not the right person.
Because we gotta think about the fact that I know that the topic is about emotional
wellness,
emotional wellness, your emotional well-being. We literally are holding some people's destiny in our hands. and definitely in the words that we speak to them. We have the capability of speaking life or death over them, and actually altering and changing their mindset of what they're going through and how they're processing and dealing with whatever it is that they are experiencing. So we have to be prayed up as well, and we just have to be compassionate and have that open ear to as to what to say to them and when to say it and how much to give them.
And the scripture really teaches us. And I know we're not just talking about the Bible, but all answers always go back to, back to the word. Oh, my train of thought that quick. But we have to be careful because the power of life and death. That's what I was thinking about. The power of life and death lies in the tongue.
Right.
So it is so important that we be mindful of what we say when we're saying it, and we should be slow to speak. And that's biblical.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is learn how to absorb it, listen, have a listening ear. And just let them, because sometimes people don't really even need a word; they just need to vent,
or for you to listen,
just to listen,
to release.
That's
get
right.
It out.
And that's the emotional. When we're talking about emotional wellness, it is so important to every now and then you have to empty yourself out. Mm-hmm. What happens to us a lot of times, the reason our emotions when they get to the point where our emotions is all over the place, we got too many.
Too much going on.
There's just too much going on in your head. So sometimes it's good to just say, you know what? I'm going to empty myself out. I'm just going to take me a little time for myself and just release all of this. And it's vital today. Mm-hmm. Good example. Today, I took off today from work today. Tried to detach myself, which I couldn't totally. Right. But I did the best I could today. But it was just one of those days where, I had to take a self-care day, right, and actually just say, okay, you know what, I'm going. Yard work is kind of therapeutic for me, right? So I get out in the yard and I get in the zone and be trying to do stuff, and I forget about everything else that's going on. So that's a good deflection. Mm-hmm. For me is yard work. Anything that deals with outside in the yard, housework, I don't want to have nothing to do with. Not absolutely nothing, but yard work, I don't mind. So that's good for me. So I got out, mowed my yard, messed around in my yard to get myself away from all of the things that I have going on, because most of us, and this is what I was telling the gentleman today, I said, man, we are so busy doing something that we achieve nothing. Yeah. We always got something to do. Oh, I got to do this. 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 I got to do this.
You're burning yourself out and ain't getting nowhere.
You're doing nothing.
And in doing that, man, that's what puts your emotions on, like, it dials up to 10. Then you get to the point where now I'm in a crying spell. Mm-hmm. Why am I crying? I don't know. I got so much going on. It's just, we have to learn how to. First of all, you need to know your limits, your limitations. How much can I absorb? Right. Because everybody's different.
Absolutely.
So you have to know personally how much can you absorb, and when you get to that point, you have to learn how to cut people off and tell them, I can't take no more. All right, I'm shut down. Let me just talk to you. No, I can't talk right now. I'm busy. Mm-hmm. I'm busy with myself.
You know what? And what I want to add to that, I don't even think that you have to say it to them, because your actions going to speak way louder. Yeah. Just don't answer. Because if you answer,
you're so rude.
If you answer that leads from one explanation to another. Well, wait a minute. Let me just tell you this one thing. It's always one more thing I'm gonna need to say. Yeah. But so I think that
I could do that.
It's when you are taking your self-care, because that's about self-time.
Right.
That is the one opportunity that you are giving yourself to be selfish.
So can you actually do that? I'm asking you personally.
Can I what?
Can you shut off like that?
Don't answer my phone.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
She's telling the truth, y'all. She is telling the truth. I'm a living witness, because I can call her phone sometime and she will not answer. So she's taking that self time, I guess. You
know what? I've realized that I deserve it.
I agree.
Because I am not good. When I'm not good to myself,
you can't be good to nobody.
I can't even be effective to you.
So would you say that now? I want to ask this question since y'all brought it up. Being married, is that something that you should tell your partner? I need a self day. If I don't answer my phone, don't take it the wrong way. I just need to be by myself.
Actually, last night when he was talking about possibly being off, I said you deserve that. And when you off, don't he went to name it out, but I still need to do this. I need to take care of this. I said, so you take the first half of the day and do nothing. Yeah. I really want you to lay in the bed all day and get you some rest.
Right.
Didn't happen, but she did say that.
But you know what you did? You stayed in the bed longer than what you normally get up in the morning time. So that it was productive in that on that end.
Definitely.
So even if all day you aren't answering calls or aren't dealing with people's situations and things, I think it was really good. So yes, I encourage that for him as often as he possibly can, at least one day a week.
Yeah, she do. I'm not good at listening, right. But she definitely do. But you know, the older I get, the more I realize that I'm not the man that I used to be. You know, sometimes our mind can play tricks on us, and and age it comes about because if you keep on living, you're just gonna get older.
Right.
But mentally, sometimes we don't really realize how much time has passed. You know, you look up and a year is gone.
Absolutely.
And you like, man, what happened?
Right.
But what I am realizing, the things that I could do 3 years ago, I can't really maintain now. I just don't. I don't have the strength. I don't have the mind. The mental capacity. I'm getting older.
Right.
And because we were talking about from a spouse's perspective, and you see your spouse moving towards this spot of he or she is constantly saying that they are tired,
right,
or the phone is they constantly, and we in ministry, and they patience is like this thick, this thin. And but they constantly going and doing.
I can't believe you got on here in front of all these folks and said I'm old and tired.
No.
That's what she said. Travas, that's what she said. She basically said that I'm old. I'm old and I'm
so
tired.
At the beginning we were talking about different perspectives.
My feelings hurt.
Different perspectives. Well, that's how you took it, but that's definitely not how I meant it, because I see you. I'm with you.
Right.
I'm in the trenches with him and for him to say, well, you know what? I really wish I could do this. Or he's getting up all throughout the night, not sleeping well. Right. So as a spouse, you just say, wait, stop. And I think that's part of being your help me.
And it should be, because if not,
I agree.
That person that's not really connected, they'll be like, oh, you just being lazy, or you just don't want to do this, or you just want to do something else. It's important to be able to know your partner, or your family, anybody in your close relation, to be able to say, hey, you are tired. Get you some rest. It's okay. Right. Don't worry about trying to do. And I am a witness to that, because my family have made me sit down and slow down, because that's all I did. It was all I know, because that's what my dad did. My dad was busy. He did things, but then in the grand scheme of things, did it accomplish anything?
Right.
You can sit back and you can say, not really. Because I look back at a lot of things that I did, and I'm like, I was just doing something. I could be outside and I'm working on this project, then I go here.
See?
And then I'm here.
Yeah.
And then by the time it's time to go inside, I'm like, I haven't done anything. But pick this up and move it over here, and then pick this up and move it back here.
Being busy.
Right. So if the word of God tells us to be still and know that I am God, first you got to be still. You can miss God even always being busy. Always got your mind so full of everything else, to when he speaks to you, it's so much clutter going on in your head, or so many thoughts that you still trying to process and work through, that you will completely miss him. And he may just be telling you, giving you some instructions on what to do next, but you miss it.
Yeah.
And you know, this one thing that I wanted to say in the beginning was, you know, we had this thing where we used to hear in the fairy tales, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? In those moments of knowing that you are tired, in those moments that you know that you are being worn down, have you taken a look in the mirror and asked the mirror to give you a true assessment of yourself, to know where you really are?
Man,
that mirror gave it to you, because now you got these bags under your eyes, your skin is sagging. You see it. Well, if you don't see it, what I do know is your body is telling you, and you ignoring the signs. You ignoring
that mirror be telling me I'm pretty.
Not that you're old and tired.
Oh boy,
come back again.
Oh.
You better take a second look is what that mirror be telling us.
Leave my mirror alone.
But you know, sometimes we can look in the mirror and that pride will get us.
Yeah.
Ego.
You know what? I got to go and do this. Yeah. They need me. They don't really need you.
No.
You are easily accessible.
Oh, one time I had to tell this person,
Mr. Pretty.
Yes, I had to tell him that sometimes what happens is he's so busy running or not running literally, but being that person for everybody else, that they don't ever even have to try to find God for themselves, because he is making them himself, in a sense, his God, their God. Right. Because he's providing, he's doing and being that go-to person all the time. Take a step back and allow them to find some strength in themselves and see that they can do it. They don't actually need you for everything.
Well, I see this is a beat down on old Sam.
No,
I promise you it ain't, because it's me.
No.
I'm that guy.
Just go and take the switch out and just
I have been the one that was always there, always available. Yeah. You know, and again, I go back to that's what I saw my dad do. Always, you know, doing this. And I took that, and I took that role because I felt like it was the right thing to do.
Right.
And in that, it have created my mindset to say that's what I'm supposed to do. But now I'm like, you know what? No. I'm tired. I need to rest a little bit and then let other people figure out how to do it, how to make it happen. Because if I continue to come in, stepping in and showing you all the way to go, then you'll never really get it.
That goes with the old proverb. You teach them how to fish or whatever about the fishing.
Yeah.
And then if you teach them how to fish, you'll feed them for life. But if you give them some fish, they only gonna have that meal, that one course meal for that day.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all, everybody that's watching, I ain't feeding y'all no more. Go to the grocery store and get your own food. Don't come to my house for no more groceries, because I learned tonight that I am feeding too many people.
Well, you know what? Even if they don't come to your house for the groceries, don't ask me for your Cash App either. For the money to buy the groceries.
She just went deep and shot. I mean, what did I do wrong today?
This topic opened a Band-Aid. That scab is peeling back.
She's just whooping.
But you know what though? That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
These topics are supposed to open the Band-Aid up so you can say, ouch, somebody pouring salt in there. And now it's time for me to really let it heal. Because if you don't pull that scab back the right way and let it heal, then all you're gonna do is keep going back over, repeat the cycle.
But you said something that really just it really showed me something. You said your father showed you an example. And when you said that, it hit me, because that's what I saw my father as. My father was the hero.
Yeah.
You know, he was everybody, Mr. Willie. They would call my father at all times of the day and night. Car breakdown. Mr. Willie, can you come pull me out of the ditch?
And when
my dad would jump up,
sick,
he would jump up. When he got down sick, nobody was to his rescue.
Right. And they had to find
we literally, our entire family literally suffered because my father was the breadwinner. He was the man.
Right.
But I realize now that subliminally, it's in the back of my mind, and I really just hadn't really thought about that. Oh man, I'm my father.
Absolutely.
I'm making the same mistakes that he made, and the mistakes were not
helping people.
But it wasn't the point of helping people, because I would never think that that's a mistake. But the mistake is over helping.
Right.
When sometimes you need to back up.
Yeah.
And this lesson is too hard because mentally it is overwhelming. Sometimes it will put you at a point where you worried about, I'll be stressing about somebody else's problems.
Absolutely.
More than I'm stressing about my own problems.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I will let my problems go because I'm so consumed with dealing with somebody else's problem. And it has always been in the name of me being a preacher, or and I think what we have to learn, especially for those of us that's in the ministry, we have to learn how to balance,
right, and when to pull back.
There's a time there comes a time when you're exactly right. You dead on. There's a time that you become God for a person, and you get in God's way.
Right. Absolutely.
So we have to learn how to balance, when that comes with a lot of prayer and a lot of supplication, because you have to ask God, Lord, I need you to show me when, when to back up, because my compassion and maybe my pride, or maybe my need, I don't know what it is really. But
you know what? Even as parents, we have to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Because we can get so engulfed in everything, trying to be everything for our kids, just for our family in general, and it literally drains you. It'll suck the life right out of you. You can't even live life because you're so consumed with their life and what they got going on.
Right. Well, I saw today you said that my dog had puppies. This is her first litter. She's got 6 puppies. And those puppies are literally, she's so overwhelmed with them that I was looking at her today. Her hair is falling out. She's got scratches where they've scratched her up. Yeah, they pulling on her, and she even had some blood coming out where they've been sucking so hard and biting her, and I said, wow. And when she just said that, that's so true. If we don't learn how to take time for ourselves, people will literally kill us, and then they'll go to the next.
Right.
So we have to be smart enough to understand that she didn't left. She's still going. They will literally suck you dry. And if you would read, there's a spirit called, it just hit me, I think it's called succular or it, and what the spirit does is that while you're asleep, it sucks the essence of life out of you. And that's where a lot of people that die in their sleep, this is the spirit that's supposedly the one that did it to you, that pulled the life out. And that's what we will allow people to do. We allow people to be vampires. And they just suck on us until there's nothing left.
And one thing about it is emotions are strange. And we're talking about dealing with letting people go, feelings come and go. These things happen, and you would seem to want to let go. Then one minute you want to let go, then the next minute you want to keep going. But it's like you can't conquer the world by taking care of everybody's problems. You need to learn how to take care of your own personal problems so that you can be there for those that you really need to be there for. And by me being so consumed with everybody else's problems and issues, then it's hard for me to really focus on me.
Right.
Because I'm so worried about tomorrow, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday that Keon is like in the back burner.
Yeah.
So I have no more energy to put into myself because I've emptied out into everyone else.
So how do we, I mean, I guess the question is really, what do we do? Or how do we start? Or where do we start? You know, going to a place that's more conducive to our personal lives. You know, because there's a real thin line when you're talking about ministry, and I know that a lot of us in the ministry, we do it the wrong way because we feel that the call is just that.
Right.
We feel that the call is just that strong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't not answer because this is the call.
This is the call, right?
You know what I'm saying? So everything becomes part of the call. When is it not the call? And I'm gonna give you a good example that that I didn't realize that I'm doing, but you know how you say when I get old, I ain't gonna never do that.
Yeah, right.
But I remember when I was real young, my grandfather was my grandfather was a pastor, pastored 2 or 3 churches at one time. And he did that for most of my life that I can remember up until the time he died. He still had 3 churches that he was pastoring full time. And I can remember him sacrificing the well-being of his family. Some of y'all may be watching. Don't y'all get mad because I'm telling the truth. But he would sacrifice the well-being of his family because he felt like the call was more important.
Right.
You know, because you never want to not be the man that God has you to be. But then I thought about something while we was talking today. The Bible said charity starts
at home.
So if your charity is lacking at home, but it's abroad, then you have really kind of messed up the order.
The balance is not there.
Right. So it's not really God's fault. It becomes your fault.
Right. And I think that comes with the teaching and understanding of how to truly balance.
Yeah.
That, and so many people have felt as if, well, I'm a pastor. I got to be at the church at all times. I've got to be able to do this at all times and not worry about my family. They'll understand. Well, when they get older, those are the ones that end up resenting coming to church. Those are the ones that end up being pushed away from being in the church because they feel like, well, and I'll say even this, there are, the ladies that say, you know what, I don't want to marry a preacher. Because if I marry a preacher, then I'm gonna go through the same thing that I went through with my dad. Yeah. My dad wasn't there because he was at church all the time. Yeah. So my kids are gonna miss out. Our kids are gonna miss out, and I'm gonna miss out. So I don't want to go through that. I'm gonna keep pushing and just say no to that part of.
And that's where you get a lot of PK. Yeah. PK kids deal with a lot of stress and a lot of emotional problems because they truly can't understand. I guess they can't understand the complexities of the call. Right. But at the same time, as a parent, they shouldn't have to understand the complexities of the call because charity starts at home. Right. I can remember and a few years ago, just a few years ago, that I changed it. There was so many trips, family trips that I sent my family on.
Right.
But I didn't join them. Because for me, it was always, I got to work, or, I can't be gone past Sunday because I got to be back. I got to be back home for church. And one day I just woke up. It was like, it was just like a bell went off. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. Why? You don't think the church can operate one Sunday without you? Are you that important to the church, or do you think you're that important to the church? Right. And I had to really wake up because I was seeing so many other preachers' kids, and you can always see something in somebody else's home before you can see it in your home. Right. And I was seeing other preachers' kids like, man, I'm fed up. My daddy make me sick.
Yeah.
You know, like, wait a minute. I mean, your dad is a good man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what everybody else
how can you say this when he ain't never around? You know, he don't do this, he don't do that, you know, he always at church or doing a revival or doing this. And it was like, man, wow.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that preacher. I don't want to be the preacher that, and I stopped, man, and I literally stopped accepting revivals.
Right.
I said, you know what? I'm not an evangelist anyway. I'm a pastor. Evangelism is not really my call anyway. But I would just do it because people would call me.
Right.
You know, they would call me and ask me, can you come do my revival? Oh, yeah, I guess I'm a preacher. That's what we do. Yeah, I'll be there.
Right.
And when I finally said no, they stopped calling. And you know what? I'm good with that.
Didn't miss a beat.
It didn't. I thought it was gonna bother me.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me at all because evangelism wasn't my calling, and I really and truthfully, I didn't want to miss all of that time with my family.
Absolutely.
So I stopped. I started going on vacations with my family, not sending them, but going with them. If I'm past Sunday, hey, that's what we got. That's what we got other preachers for. You know, that's what you got help for. You train somebody else to be in your stead, and I learned to be okay with that and accept that, you know what, the church is gonna be all right. It's gonna still be there when I get back.
Absolutely.
And if it don't be there when I get back, then we'll build another.
Yep. And you know, the key, one of the key words you said in there was train someone else. Because if you're in a leadership position, you're not training people to take charge or be in charge, then as a leader, that says a lot about, you know, you, because that means you kind of a person is selfish, don't want nobody else to learn or don't want nobody else to grow. And it keeps, like you said, you can't go anywhere outside it because you have to be there at the church all the time because it lays all the burden on you. You don't want nobody else to do anything. So it's important, you know, doing what you do is great that you have allowed people to learn how to be in those positions and be in those positions to keep things going in your absence.
And also, to add to what you're saying, a lot of this is self-inflicted. We over-obligate ourselves because we like to feel important.
Yeah.
You know, that was another thing I had to, it was a harsh reality that I had to realize that, you know what, I kind of like being a hero. No, you know, hero. You know, I had to learn that I kind of like the idea that people call on me and people need me and your wisdom and you know all of these things because it makes you feel important.
Yeah.
But then I had to come to the realization that it's not so much that they feel that I'm important more than that I'm accessible.
Yeah. Easily accessible.
So then you know it's a rude awakening because you go from feeling good to feeling, but these jokers using me. They used me. I don't even like y'all no more. You know, you want to go up and you run, drop your head and run. Oh, I thought that was important.
Taking my ball and going.
Right. No, you find out that a lot of people will just be using you because you're accessible. You're there. So when they find out that you're there, because I tell you what, a good thing to find out if they use you or not is one, just once. Just say I can't be there, and watch what they do. They're gonna go. Jennifer said it best. They're gonna go to the next.
Oh yeah.
They just gonna slide on. You talking about a cosmetologist? You don't fix their hair and see what happens. That head's still gonna be nappy. They're gonna find somebody to fix that head. They just gonna go on to the next. And you know what? And if you ain't careful, if that next person do good, they got them a new person.
Got a new person. Yeah.
Drop you like a bad habit.
But at the same time, if it's gonna save you peace, you need peace. You get another client.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord anyhow. Hallelujah anyhow.
Strategies for improving your emotional health. We'll start with number one, build resilience. Building resilience will help you to improve your emotional health. You know, you'll begin to have fewer emotions. All these things it'll cause you to just come back in one way. And as you can see below, get you some physical habits, some healthy physical habits, walking, jogging, exercising, all these type of things. Just getting up, moving your legs around, just doing something to keep you, healthy, in shape. Take time for yourself. As Pastor Sam was talking about earlier, it's very important you take time to yourself. Be able to do something for you that you're not doing for anybody else. If it's just going to the nail salon, go to the nail salon. Don't tell nobody else. Don't take your phone. If you just want to get on the road and just take your trip from north to south, do it. Get that peace. Get your music going, your podcast or whatever you want to listen to, and just take your ride and enjoy the scenery. Practicing gratitude.
That's good.
As we talk about practicing gratitude, and for some, I like to say hunt the good stuff. And in that, this is all a part of resiliency. Hunt the good stuff. If you're having problems finding something good, because a lot of times we're so full of negativity, our emotions are negative. Here's what you do. You start off with 3 small things that you found out that are good, going good, have happened good in the day. Those 3 things. I've talked about this before. If it's something like I ate steak for lunch, if that makes you happy, then let that be something positive. If it's something that's my wife washed the clothes, if that's something that's going to make you feel good because she washed your favorite shirt, there goes. My husband finally washed the dishes. If that's something to be proud about, you write it down. Nothing too small is wrong, because at this point, you want to make sure that you're practicing gratitude, hunting the good stuff. The more positive things you put into your mind throughout the day, the more likely all that negative thoughts, emotions, and feelings, it'll move to the back burner. Number 2, we talk about reducing stress. And I tell you, right now, I know there are a lot of people that are stressed out. And for the most part, we're stressed out probably about nothing. We get so stressed out about other people's problems that we can't live our own life. We get stressed out about when your emotions are all over the place, your level of stress and anxiety, it increases. So now you're just all over the place. You're getting a rush to do stuff, and when you're getting a rush to do things, it messes you up. And again, exercise helps. Exercise helps all of this. It will help improve your emotional health completely. Getting enough sleep. And that's something that we all battle with because of, as we say, we're so busy during the day. And in that, find you a time to where you can begin to go to bed at that time every night, if it's possible. Try to get up and go to bed at the same time. You don't have to stay up all night to watch TV. Cut that TV off and get you some rest. Even if you think you can lay in the bed and fall asleep with the TV on, you're really disturbing your mental sleep.
That's right.
You're disturbing your peace, because your mind will never rest, because now it's focused on all those things that may have been on TV. And if a lot of people like to watch reality shows, the reality shows can be a bunch of mess. And in that, now all your mind thinks about is, arguing, fighting, mischief. That's all it thinks about. So now you're set up and focused on, your dreams would be about foolishness instead of something positive.
Crazy.
Show compassion for yourself. That's very important. I mean, who wouldn't? But I know there's sometimes people feel some type of way. They feel like life is just going so bad for them that they don't deserve it. But show some compassion for yourself. This life that we live, it's hard.
Yeah, it is.
And you have to be able to understand that tomorrow will come. If you don't wake up tomorrow, then guess what? You won't even miss or know anything that went wrong. But we hope and pray that everybody wakes up tomorrow. So show some compassion for yourself. It's very important. Number 3, quality sleep. Get you some quality sleep. I hope I copied it right. Yeah, get some quality sleep.
And that's hard. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, the average person probably only gets a few hours.
5 or 6,
4 or 5 sleep.
Quality sleep.
Man, if I get 5 hours, I've had a real good night.
Yeah.
So that's important. And if you know your habits, your sleep habits are real bad, then that means you need to go to sleep earlier.
Yeah.
Just like you said, if you know, like me, I'm gonna get up 2 or 3 times every night.
Yeah.
That's just, don't know why, but I do it. But if I can go to sleep at about 10, 6 o'clock, I'm good.
Yeah.
But what happens normally is I go to sleep at 12. And 6
o'clock,
o'clock,
bed.
oh man.
Well,
So-
like for me, if I don't go to bed at 9, because I get up at 4, if I don't go to bed at 9, anything after that, it's hard.
Yeah.
Because when I get up at 4, I'm trying to get my mind ready to get up and go work out.
Right.
And then take my drive to work. So anything outside of that, now my mind is all over the place. I'm feeling rushed.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I need to do this, I need to do that,
Yeah.
and I can't get my focus, myself together.
It throws your whole day off.
Oh, really? It does. It really does. Number 4 is strengthen your social connections. And a lot of people feel like I can be by myself. You know what? That's what the devil wants you to believe, that it's easier for you to be by yourself. But I'm here to tell you that if you can get you somebody that you can talk to and laugh and have a good time with, then it will help you out a lot. Take you some, like Pastor, take some trips.
Yeah.
Begin taking some trips. Meet new people when you go on those trips.
Yeah.
You don't have to bring them home with you, but once you connect with them, this one time, who knows, when you take another trip, you may see them again.
Right.
Or you may have a family member going in their direction and they break down. You're like, you know what? I met so-and-so over here.
Right.
Let me see if they're available to help.
You never know.
You never know.
And when talking about social connections, it also gives you the opportunity to release, to have somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Every person needs, I think you need at least 2 people. You need at least 2 people that these are your show enough go to.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, no judgment.
Right.
Just man,
Sound
look,
decisions.
I need you right now.
Right.
Listen to me. I got 2. I got 2 people in my life that I know if I call and go to, it stays there.
Mm-hmm.
When I get through, I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
So find you at least 2 people.
Right. That's very important. Making sure that you can let it out, because I'm telling you, holding this stuff in, it won't get you nowhere but trouble.
Right.
The next one is coping with loss.
Mm.
And a lot of times we don't deal with it. And when we talk about coping with loss, not just death, but losing your job.
Right.
Your best friend, you falling out with your best friend, a relationship. Cope with it. Find ways to deal with these things, because if not, I tell you, your emotions will be all over the place. And then when someone trying to talk to you, you're snappy, or you don't want to build new relationships because you're still burnt out on what happened in the past.
That's right.
And it's important to, find ways to deal with these things.
It is. Coping with loss is. I see someone said that's hard. It is. It is hard.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to find ways. And sometimes if that means go get help, then go get help.
Go get help.
Because people think that we only mourn death.
Right.
But we mourn loss. That's what death is. Death is loss to our natural bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So we mourn. When you lose a job, people mourn.
Oh yeah.
They go into depression.
Yep.
I was good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand, what did I do wrong?
I was on time. I made sure everything was done right. This. I put my all in this job.
That's right.
15 years in, and then they fired me.
That's right.
That can be hard on a person.
Yeah.
Because again, now you have sacrificed family time for your job. Now you don't have a job, and you're trying to build that relationship back with your family, and they're standoffish.
You can't get that time back.
Right, you can't get it back.
That time is gone.
Now it's awkward with you trying to get in and meet them where they are, because you've been away for so long. And just feels different.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. The last one is being mindful. Be mindful of what's happening right now. Yeah. A lot of times we say that we are, but then again, we're all over the place. What's right in front of us, we don't sometimes see it.
Yeah, you miss it.
I tell people that, I can be walking into a room filled with people. And if my mind is on something, you could be standing right there and trying to wave and speak to me, and I don't see you.
Yeah.
And it's not intentional. It's because I'm tunnel vision, and I'm thinking about that target.
Locked in,
And nothing else is on my radar at the time.
Yeah. I think that's military. I think I think that was a part of our training, how to be able to block things out and focus. We're task oriented.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's that. But that's so true. So true.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same way. People say, you ain't see me.
Mm-hmm.
No, I really did.
Yeah.
I didn't see you. I had something on my mind. And that's a dangerous thing.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of times when we get in those places, the things that we neglect can be the difference between life and death.
Life and death.
I've heard of people, get in their car and I don't know how I got here.
Mm-hmm.
Where
I don't want to be like that now, but
yeah,
I can imagine.
I ain't quite that bad either, but I have. Well, I take that back. I have been so preoccupied till I got into a destination, and it wasn't where I was going, but it was muscle memory.
Yeah.
You ever got in the car and you already kind of used to the turns,
half sleep, and then you make it home. Oh yeah, yeah.
So I've done that. So that's not a good thing. We should never be so preoccupied that we're not cognizant of the now.
The present right
that's
now.
That's right.
And if you find yourself zoned out, as the notes say, take some deep breaths.
Yeah.
Take your minute, take some deep breaths. Take your walk, exercise, do something that can help you. Don't binge eat. If you want to eat something, just being mindful of. I used to wonder why people can eat things and they can say, I taste this, and I taste this. And for me, I'm like, okay.
It tastes like
it just tastes like, it tastes good, But some people can taste every type of seasoning that you have on that piece of meat. And that's being mindful of what you're doing, where you are right now.
That's right.
And I'm
taking it in.
You really taking your time.
Absorbing the moment.
Right. And I don't know if I've ever been able to do that, truly absorb the moment. I'm learning to, but I haven't mastered it. Trying to truly absorb the moment of what you're in.
See, that's military, because you've been trained to be on the go, and to make this happen, and now, and that's what's going on with me. Now I'm getting older and I'm slowing down.
Yeah. And
as you slow down, you begin to see things in a totally different light. Like I'm more sensitive now than I've ever been. Cry. And the only time you ever catch a tear come out of my eye is when church was real good and God had touched me. That was it. But now, man, I could be watching a movie and like, dude, what is wrong with you?
Why are you crying?
Yeah, what is wrong with you? You getting weak. But that's because now I'm at a point in life where I'm slowing down and I'm absorbing.
Right.
So what had happened, you had really gotten into the movie, and you was feeling what the character was portraying. So it is so different when you begin to slow down, and when you really allow yourself to decompress and get a grip on your emotions. And I think that's where I am. I'm not there, but that's where I'm headed.
Yeah.
I'm headed on, if it's a time to cry, cry.
Yeah.
Because that's the emotion, that you're supposed to be feeling at that point. If something is sad, then why and when you think about it, it makes sense. Why be hard in a point that you shouldn't be?
You shouldn't be.
Because everybody else is looking at you and saying you're insensitive. You know what I'm saying? But in your mind, you're saying, I'm not going to allow nobody to see me cry. Yeah. Why not?
I'm trying to be strong.
That's a natural response. Yeah. And that's what we have to get away from that, I'm a man. Yeah. I'm a man.
Men ain't supposed to cry.
Man, men do cry.
Yeah.
Men do cry.
Jeremiah.
Jesus wept.
Yep.
So
tell
me a man that was greater than Jesus.
Absolutely.
Like you said, Jeremiah, the weeping prophet. Tell me somebody that was greater than these guys. Yeah. So we have to understand that it is important for us to, to work on our emotional state.
Right.
It's important to work on it. Like I said, with some of us, if you can't do it personally, then you need to go get some help. And some of us need to go get some medication.
Oh yeah.
I'm not I'm not this guy that's 100% on medication, because I really believe that God has answers, but God has doctors also. So I mean,
if
why
the
did these
medicine's
guys
gonna
go to
help you
school?
sustain yourself for right now,
Man,
and
take
then
that medicine.
until you find ways
That's
to
right. Take that
to
medicine.
get yourself better. then there
And
you
I did say medicine. I ain't say weed. All right, we're gonna have to do some more research and
It's for
study
my
on it.
cataracts.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some research on this weed thing. Now it's too many of y'all smoking in the church. I'm gonna put it that way. I smell it. I'm just gonna let y'all know. I smell it. I done been to church and I smelled the weed when I walked in. I'm not a smoker.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's very sensitive.
I don't know what maybe we need to have a class on this weed journey that America is on right now. Maybe you're supposed to eat it. Y'all go out there and get you a weed plant and chew on it.
As people talk about it being an herb, a lot of things what they're smoking out is not.
No, those are synthetic added.
Synthetic hybrids, all of that.
PHC, all kind of stuff added to it. You go get God weed, and then we can talk about God. We can talk about God's weed if y'all want to argue the fact of weed, because y'all believe it or not, I deal with that a lot. As a preacher, I promise you, I deal with it almost on a daily basis. Preacher, you can't tell me that this in the Bible says wrong. I ain't see nowhere in the Bible where they smoke weed. I haven't seen it. Now maybe they ate it.
What type of pharmaceuticals you talking about, Fat?
I think they're horrible, Fat. I think they're horrible.
If you're talking about medicinal marijuana, then again it's going back to prescribed. But there are some people who are saying that are not prescribed. They're just using it because they say, "Oh, they got a headache. It stops this."
You got a headache. You don't need to smoke no whole joint. Maybe you just need to sleep. You need some rest. But I agree with you. I agree with you, Hud. A lot of these we have to be mindful, because a lot of these pharmaceuticals are even worse, because we know that it's something that man has created in a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Right. And going to answer his question on that, any prescription that's prescribed, we'll go back and say that if your body is not healing itself, then you treat it so that it can begin to heal itself.
Right.
If you have a prescription, that is prescribed, it's because you went to the doctor gave you a diagnosis and said that, hey, this is what will help you get back to this state. It's not long term.
Right.
Most of it is just a short term, but we tend to get hooked because we don't go outside. We don't go outside and begin to get healthy. We don't eat healthy.
That's right.
We don't drink water. We don't work out. We don't do anything so the body can heal itself. If you don't do any of those things, then your body gonna continue to tear itself down. And I don't care how much weed you smoke, it's not gonna build you back up, because you're not eating the right things. You're not drinking the right things. You still tearing your body. You're just putting a Band-Aid on it for a little while.
That's right. That's right.
And you're right back in the same boat.
That's right. And that's what it's all about. It's all about wisdom and knowledge, and that's most of the guys. I put it this way. Most of the people that's arguing with me about smoking, they ain't smoking for medicine. They smoking for enjoyment. So you can't, we could talk it all day, but they smoking it for enjoyment.
Yeah, fentanyl is a number one killer right now. It is being laced. You hear that term? Laced.
Yeah.
A lot of it is not prescribed. A lot of it is being laced. Yeah. And people are stealing prescriptions and misusing them, and that is causing a lot of the deaths too.
And anything that you change to use for enjoyment, it becomes just that.
Yep.
It's not medicine anymore. Even the medicine, it's not medicine if you're taking it for enjoyment.
Right. Since you said, and not to cut you off about that, but when you said that, this is what I had to learn. Back in high school or junior high, when I started playing football, running track, or we had to fill out the forms for your physical. I would get the forms filled out, but I would never check yes or no to any of my relatives' history, because I didn't think that was important. It wasn't until I got older that I realized the importance of having the history of your parents, your grandparents, and all those in your family. It's because when they get ready to prescribe you medicine, if certain things are in your history, then they won't allow you to take it because it could come back to cause other issues. And some of these things is what's happening. They're just taking them, don't know the background, don't know the cause and effect because of your parents' history or your grandparents' history. Something that's in your bloodstream can trigger something, and now you're addicted. Right. And that's what some of the problem is.
And then on top of that, hey, still come to church. I don't care if you smoke like you just smoked up a half a tree. Still come to church. We're not gonna turn you around. I'm just letting y'all know that some of y'all smoking in the church now. Some of y'all drinking in the church too. Some of y'all doing all kind of things in the church.
And he said what he said.
But keep on coming to the church. At some point, at some point, the Spirit is going to meet you where you at. Mm-hmm. That's the powerful thing about God. We all deal with something. We all going through something. Absolutely. But the key is you keep on coming until God meets you where you at. And he show you a better way.
There was a video I saw where this pastor was preaching. He was an ex-cop. And 4 guys walked into his church. And being a cop, he's aware. So he saw guns in their pocket. So he told his deacon or director, someone, to lock the doors and alert the police. So he did that. And when he did that, he began to walk down towards them and talk to them. And in talking to them, he asked them, can he pray for them? Mm-hmm. And in that he began to, they allowed him to pray for him. And in that began to become a change because, that happened and the Holy Spirit met them right there where they were. Right. And it began working in them. And I'm not saying for everybody to do that, but it was just an example of how the Spirit can meet you in that moment. But you have to make sure that you are emotionally well to be able to hear it and not all confused, because some people are like, oh no, they got a gun, and they panic.
Right.
But because he knew of how to act in that situation, he was able to handle it in a well way. But man, we had a real good topic tonight, real good discussion. I love the comments. I love the comments. That's just
continue.
And I will come back and respond to some of the things that are being said here after this. But one of the keys to maintain a healthy emotional outlook is to leave the circumstances and challenges of everyday life in God's hand. Whatever you're dealing with, put it in God's hand.
Right.
If you don't know what to do with it, put it in God's hand. When God when the Holy Spirit speaks to you and tell you how to deal with it, you have to be ready to listen. When you pray, don't just always expect something to happen just like that. Listen, pray, sit there for a minute and listen. The Spirit may have something for you to do. He may have something to tell you. So I tell you, be aware, be mindful. Resilience can help you to become emotionally healthy. Guys, we thank you and we love you.
Man, we out of time. We out of time.
We are out of time today.
Man, we just getting started. God bless you all. God keep you. We pray that and it's definitely our prayer that God continue to bless you over and over and over again. And let's just pray that God meets you wherever you are.
Wherever you are. Absolutely.
That God meets you wherever. And not only he meets you, but when God meets you anywhere, he's going to minister to your need. Absolutely. So whatever your need is, God got it. Yeah. Let's continue to love on one another, not be judgmental or not hate. But the Bible said love covers a multitude of faults. Absolutely. So let's cover our family, cover our friends, cover the people that we don't even know. Let's cover them in love. Absolutely. While God covers us in love. God bless you all.
Amen. Good night.